The UL listing for the Topaz catalog numbers 120, 953, 954, and 145 R&M connectors does not specify a maximum number of cables allowed in these connectors. However, the UL listing does specify that the connectors are suitable for use with NM cables that have a maximum diameter of 0.530 inches. Based on this information, it is recommended that you do not exceed 4 NM cables per connector. This will ensure that the cables are not overcrowded and that the connectors can be properly closed. The electrical codes and standards are designed to ensure safety and proper functionality in electrical installations. One crucial aspect of these codes involves the use of appropriate connectors for different types and sizes of cables. In this discussion, we will focus on non-metallic sheathed cables, commonly known as NM cables, and their compatibility with various connectors, specifically referencing UL listings and manufacturer specifications. NM cable is widely used in residential wiring due to its ease of installation and cost-effectiveness. It consists of 2 or more insulated conductors wrapped within a non-metallic outer sheath. The size of an NM cable is denoted by a gauge number, such as 14-2, 12-2, or 10-3, where the first number indicates the American wire gauge or AWG size of the conductors, and the second number indicates the number of current carrying conductors plus a ground wire. Connectors are essential components in electrical systems. They provide a secure and reliable connection between cables and electrical boxes, devices, or other equipment. Connectors must be properly sized and rated for the specific type and size of cable being used. The UL, or Underwriters Laboratories, listing is a widely recognized safety certification that indicates a product has been tested and meets specific safety standards. When selecting connectors for electrical installations, it is crucial to choose UL-listed products to ensure they meet safety and performance requirements. UL standards for connectors include requirements for mechanical strength, electrical conductivity, and resistance to environmental factors. When selecting NM cable connectors, it is important to consider several factors. Firstly, the size and type of NM cable being used. Different sizes of NM cable require different sizes of connectors. Secondly, the number of cables that need to be connected. Some connectors are designed to accommodate multiple cables, while others are intended for single cable connections. Thirdly, the environment in which the connector will be used. Connectors used in damp or corrosive environments must be specifically rated for those conditions. To determine the appropriate connector for a specific NM cable application, refer to the manufacturer's specifications and the UL listing information for the connector. The manufacturer's specifications will provide details on the cable sizes and types that the connector is designed to accommodate. The UL listing information will confirm that the connector has been tested and meets the relevant safety standards. When multiple NM cables need to be connected to a single electrical box, it is important to use a connector that is specifically designed for multiple cables. These connectors typically have multiple openings or ports to accommodate each cable individually. Ensure that each cable is securely clamped or fastened within the connector to prevent strain or damage to the wires. Overcrowding cables within a connector can lead to several problems. Firstly, it can damage the insulation of the wires, increasing the risk of short circuits or electrical fires. Secondly, it can make it difficult to properly close the connector, compromising its ability to protect the wires from environmental factors. Thirdly, it can violate electrical codes and standards, leading to potential safety hazards. If the UL listing or manufacturer's specifications do not explicitly state the maximum number of cables allowed in a connector, it is important to exercise caution and avoid overcrowding. A general guideline is to allow sufficient space within the connector to ensure that each cable can be securely clamped or fastened without putting undue strain on the wires. In some cases, it may be necessary to use multiple connectors or a larger electrical box to accommodate all of the cables safely. In this situation involving Topaz catalog numbers 120, 953, 954, and 145 R&M connectors, it has been determined that the UL listing does not specify a maximum number of cables allowed in these connectors. However, the UL listing does specify that the connectors are suitable for use with NM cables that have a maximum diameter of 0.530 inches. Based on this information, it is recommended that you do not exceed 4 NM cables per connector. This will ensure that the cables are not overcrowded and that the connectors can be properly closed. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector if you have any questions or concerns about selecting or installing NM cable connectors. They can provide expert guidance and ensure that your electrical installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Proper selection and installation of NM cable connectors are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. By following manufacturer's specifications, UL listing information, and electrical codes, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, compliant, and functional. Firstly, always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before working on any electrical wiring. Secondly, use the correct size and type of connector for the NM cable you are using. Thirdly, do not overcrowd cables within a connector. Fourthly, ensure that each cable is securely clamped or fastened within the connector. Fifthly, follow all applicable electrical codes and standards. NM connectors are used to connect NM or non-metallic sheath cable to electrical boxes or enclosures. They are designed to provide a secure and strain relief connection, protecting the cable from damage and ensuring a safe electrical connection. Several different types of NM connectors are available, each designed for specific applications and cable sizes. The most common types include clamp-type connectors, which use a screw or clamp to secure the cable, and snapping connectors, which simply snap into place. The selection of the appropriate NM connector depends on several factors, including the size and type of NM cable being used, the material of the electrical box or enclosure, and the environmental conditions. It is essential to choose a connector that is specifically listed for use with NM cable and that is sized appropriately for the cable diameter. UL listing is a crucial factor to consider when selecting NM connectors. UL listed connectors have been tested and certified by underwriters' laboratories to meet specific safety standards. This ensures that the connector is capable of providing a reliable and safe electrical connection. The UL listing mark on a connector indicates that it has been evaluated for electrical, mechanical, and fire safety hazards. Connectors that are not UL listed may not meet these safety standards and could pose a risk of electrical shock, fire, or other hazards. When installing NM connectors, it is essential to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. A proper installation can compromise the safety and reliability of the connection. Typically, the installation process involves stripping the outer jacket of the NM cable, inserting the cable into the connector, and then tightening the clamp or screw to secure the cable in place. It is important to ensure that the cable is securely clamped and that the connector is properly tightened to prevent the cable from pulling out or loosening over time. Electrical codes, such as the National Electrical Code, or NEC, provide specific requirements for the installation of NM connectors. These requirements are designed to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The NEC specifies the types of connectors that are permitted for use with an NM cable in different applications and provides guidelines for the spacing and support of cables and connectors. It is essential to comply with all applicable electrical codes when installing NM connectors to ensure safe and code-compliant electrical installation. In addition to UL listing and compliance with the electrical codes, it is also important to consider the environmental conditions when selecting NM connectors. Connectors used in damp or wet locations must be specifically listed for use in those environments. These connectors are typically constructed of corrosion-resistant materials and are designed to prevent moisture from entering the connection. Connectors used in hazardous locations, such as areas where flammable gases or vapors may be present, must also be specifically listed for use in those locations. These connectors are designed to contain any sparks or explosions that may occur within the connector. Regular inspection and maintenance of NM connectors are essential to ensure their continued safety and reliability. Connectors should be inspected periodically for signs of damage, corrosion, or loosening. Any damaged or corroded connector should be replaced immediately. Loose connectors should be tightened to ensure a secure connection. Proper selection, installation, and maintenance of NM connectors are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. By choosing UL-listed connectors, complying with electrical codes, and considering the environmental conditions, you can ensure that your electrical connections are safe, code compliant, and functional. The recommendation to limit the number of NM cables to 4 per connector is based on practical considerations and best practices in electrical installations. While the UL listing may not explicitly state a maximum number, exceeding this guideline can lead to several potential issues. Firstly, overcrowding the connector can make it difficult to properly tighten the clamping mechanism, leading to a loose connection. A loose connection can cause arcing, overheating, and potentially a fire hazard. Secondly, excessive cables within the connector can put undue strain on the wires, potentially damaging the insulation and increasing the risk of short circuits. Thirdly, overcrowding can make it difficult to inspect and maintain the connections properly. It can be challenging to visually inspect the wires and connections to ensure they are secure and in good condition. Fourthly, exceeding the recommended number of cables can violate local electrical codes or regulations, even if it is not explicitly stated in a UL listing. Electrical inspectors may flag the installation as non-compliant if they deem the connector to be overcrowded. Fifthly, the physical space within the electrical box or enclosure may become limited, making it difficult to manage the cables and connections properly. This can lead to a cluttered and disorganized installation, increasing the risk of damage or accidental disconnection. To avoid these potential issues, it is generally recommended to follow the manufacturer's guidelines and best practices when determining the number of NM cables to connect a single connector. If you need to connect more than 4 NM cables, consider using multiple connectors or a larger electrical box to provide adequate space and separation for the connections. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector if you have any doubts or concerns about the proper installation of NM cables and connectors. They can provide expert guidance and ensure that your electrical installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Electrical safety is paramount, and it is essential to take all necessary precautions to prevent electrical hazards. Overcrowding NM cables and connectors is a common mistake that can have serious consequences. By following the recommended guidelines and best practices, you can ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation.